When the river rose, the river had always been a line on the map, thin, obedient, predictable. It separated East Bank from West Bank the way people liked their divisions, clean and unquestioned. For decades, the two towns lived back to back, sharing the same sky but never the same heart. East Bank had the factories, West Bank had the farms. They blamed each other for everything: pollution, poverty, lost jobs, broken promises. When the river flooded a little each spring, they shook their heads and said, "That's their problem," until the night the river rose higher than it ever had before. Rain fell for 3 days without pause, not the gentle kind, but the furious, drumming kind that felt personal. By the fourth night, the sirens began to wail. The river, swollen and roaring, smashed through its banks like a beast freed from a cage. First went the bridges. One by one, the structures that connected East Bank and West Bank collapsed into the churning water. Steel screamed, concrete cracked, and suddenly the line on the map became a wall. East Bank's power station flooded before dawn. Lights flickered and died. West Bank's fields vanished under black water, crops ruined in hours. The emergency radios crackled with fear, but the signals were weak. Phones stopped working, roads disappeared, and for the first time, neither side could pretend the other didn't exist. On East Bank's side, Maya stood on the roof of the old schoolhouse, clutching a flashlight and counting the people huddled behind her: children, elders, neighbors she barely knew. The water was climbing fast. "We can't hold out till morning," someone shouted. "Rescue boats won't reach us." Across the river on what used to be the riverbank, Jonah watched the same water swallowing his town. He had ropes, tractors, boats, tools meant for fields, not floods. He also had people, strong hands, willing hearts, but no bridge. Someone muttered what many were thinking. "Why help them? They never helped us." Jonah didn't answer right away. He remembered every town meeting that ended in shouting, every rejected proposal, every insult dressed up as policy. He felt the bitterness too. Then he heard a cry, thin, terrified, carried across the water. A child's voice. "That's enough," Jonah said, louder than the storm. "If we wait for permission from the past, people will die." They worked through the night. West Bank tied boats together, forming a swaying chain across the river's narrowest point. The current fought them like an enemy, snapping ropes, throwing men into the water. East Bank saw the lights approaching and answered with their own, flashlights blinking like desperate stars. When the first boat reached the schoolhouse roof, Maya didn't recognize the man who reached for her hand. Mud streaked his face, his eyes were wild with effort. "West Bank," he said, as if that explained everything. She took his hand anyway. Back and forth they went. Children first, then the injured, then anyone who couldn't swim. When the ropes broke, people dove in without thinking. When boats capsized, hands reached from both sides to pull strangers out. No one asked where you were from anymore. At dawn, the rain finally stopped. The river receded slowly, leaving wreckage, silence, and exhaustion in its wake. Both towns stood battered but breathing. They had lost much, but not each other. In the days that followed, something unfamiliar happened. East Bank engineers helped West Bank rebuild irrigation systems. West Bank farmers shared food with East Bank families whose stores were ruined. They planned a new bridge together, not just steel and concrete, but wider, stronger, built for more than traffic. At the dedication months later, Maya stood beside Jonah as the ribbon was cut. "Funny," she said softly. "We needed a disaster to remember we were one place." Jonah nodded. "Or maybe," he said, watching people from both sides cross freely, "we just needed to stop standing alone." The river still ran between them, but it no longer divided.